Kerning, kerning, kerning. Once you understand kerning, you will see examples of bad kerning all around you, and it's amazing. You will see it on the web, in movie theaters, in titles, signs in front of stores, logos. You'll see it everywhere, and it'll drive you crazy. How could they do that? Okay, couple rules of thumb about kerning your own text. Number one, pay attention to the size of your text. If this were 12 pixels rather than over 150, don't kern that. That's just body text, and you don't have to kern that at all. You pay attention to the larger text. When you're making a poster, yeah, you got to pay attention to everything. If you're writing a paragraph, no, you're not gonna kern a paragraph. You're not gonna worry about that. Okay, so we've got the first step is make sure your text is display type, large. Then, even though these computer monitors are very crisp, they cannot begin to simulate the nuances that Illustrator is capable of. Illustrator can adjust things to the 10,000th of an inch. So when you're kerning, it's always a good idea. I'm going to hold down the spacebar and the command key to get the magnifying glass temporarily, and I'm not going to drag right here because that would put kerning behind my panels off to the right. So I'll move a little bit off to this side, and then I have kerning. Look at that, what a good shot. Displayed pretty much as large as it can be, so I can focus on this word. Yes, we have these distracting elements here, and we could move them aside if we wanted, but let's not worry about that. So we're kerning display text. We're zoomed in so we can see what we're doing. And then the next thing to do is, before we start kerning, is say, do I want this word to be open and airy, to have lots of room between the letters? Or do I want it kerned tighter than this? Now, if the answer is the latter, you need to use tracking to give you a head start. If we want this kerned tightly, let's go ahead and do most of that work with tracking. Okay? Now we're ready to kern. Where to start? Where to start? What looks funky? Doesn't this look strange? Big space here. It's because this K pushing way out, and we've got this negative space here. When you're kerning, you're paying attention to the space between the letters. The shape of the letters matters as well. It's kind of a dance back and forth between the letters and the space between them. And when you kern and you get two letters just right, well, chances are you just have created problems further down the road. So it's kern here, kern here, kern here. You're going to jump back and forth. So I'm going to double click to get the text tool, and Option left arrow. Just like tracking worked with Option left and right arrows, when the entire word was selected, kerning works when the space between two letters is active with this insert bar. So I am just pulling this in slowly, and I'm going to stop there, not because it's perfect. It may be too tight, it may be too loose. We don't know until we do the rest of the letters. And I won't take you through this entire painful process. Let go of the Option key, and then you can just hit your right arrow to move down. And I kind of want to focus on these three letters, because quite often when you're kerning, you want to look here. I'm going to get rid of that insertion bar so we're not distracted by that. You want to look at the space between the letters, but the letters themselves. So notice that the N on the right, we've got 9-inch nails here, N-I-N, and we've got the shape of this I is echoed in the shape of this part of the N. So we've got N-I-N, and you might think, well, we need the same kerning here and here. No, and I'll show you why. I'm going to double click and then tighten this up. Option, right arrow. I'll hit once, twice. Come over here and just hit once. So the kerning between these two letters is -5. The kerning between these two letters is -10. Now, why in the world, if an N and an I and an N, why are they different? Okay, hopefully this is going to help you. The shape, I told you, these two shapes are echoed. But if you look straight across, there's this vertical line. So this negative space is defined by the shape right here, correct? So now between this N and this I, we've got that same thing happening. You might say, well, this is going straight up. The I is going straight up. Yeah, it goes straight up, but then it curves away. That little nuance, this is very subtle. This is very overt. We've got a great big negative space here. So it's not N-I, I-N, they're the same. Because we have a little additional negative space here, I put the I just a little bit closer to the N. And I know some of you are saying, what does it matter? When you're done, a properly kerned poster will look so much better, so much more sophisticated, and you may not even know why one poster looks better than the other. Trust me, one of the elements, there's lots of variables, but one of the very important elements is kerning. You will notice, once you begin to notice bad kerning, you're going to understand what I'm saying. So kerning is a dance, and it usually is between, even though we're kerning one character at a time, you're looking at the characters on either side. And then you got to look down the road and say, well, these are kerned really tight. You might say, hey, this negative space here is kind of the same volume as this. Yeah, but this curve, this kicker, look at it. Shouldn't that G be closer to the N? Go ahead. You have Minion Pro. Type this out. Play along. See what you can do. You don't have to go 158.7. That's kind of crazy. Just 158, 150. Go ahead. Try it out. I look forward to your stories of seeing bad kerning all around you. Sorry.